she fabulous? It's been a good show so far, right? I'm the great pretender, pretending that I'm doing well. Cut it. Ladies, have we ever pretended? I've pretended a lot of things in my day. Yeah, I like pretending that I'm doing well. I've done it for quite a while now. Yeah. Can anybody relate to pretending? Yeah. There we go. There's my ladies. Yeah. I have some news for you. I got to get something off my chest. I used to pretend. Now I'm going to be real. You cool with that? I'm going to be real. I am a proud Army veteran, but I get sick and tired of something. And I'll tell you what it is. It's not a wig, sir. Pull it. Pull it like I'm your wife. He's the one that gave me that joke. Give it up for Steven Springer. That's amazing. I'm not a cougar either, you guys. I don't know what's happened in the world that everybody thinks I want to be involved and be a cougar. I'm not a cougar. Am I getting silence? I'm not a cougar. Do I look like I want countless hours of endless nirvana? That was 1969. No, thank you. I have osteoporosis. Yeah. So let's just talk about it. I've been aging. Is anybody else aging up in this thing? Holy crap. I'm telling you, I had a birthday. That's usually where I get an applause break. I said cheap applause break. I had a birthday last March 19th, but it's coming around again in a few. Right after the river turns green, I have a birthday. Yeah. I turned 27,900 days old yesterday. Every day's a birthday, am I right? Yeah. You wake up, it's a birthday. No. I'm really turning 75 in a couple days. Yeah. I do not mind aging. 75 is a big number. I've officially arrived to where I am none of your business old if you don't know me. Yeah. I get a lot of compliments as a senior. Do you ladies get compliments that you just love so much that you just want to go in the bathroom and throw up? I get these compliments. I don't know where they're coming from. People think they're giving you a compliment. Usually men, sorry. They'll give you a compliment and it's backhanded. Am I right, ladies? Like my favorite one. I'm addicted to coffee. Anybody else like their coffee? All right. I go into Starbucks for a cup of coffee. And Jim, my barista, he always has some kind of backward compliment for me. One day he said, Linda, you look so good. Prepositional phrase, ladies. How do you finish it? For your age. I get so sick and tired of that compliment, man. If you end a compliment with a preposition, your night's not ending in no proposition. So to help him and his compliments, I said, well, thank you, Jim. You look great for a dropout from the hair club for men. And you can't tell that joke and look at somebody who's bald, just so you know. Yeah. Another time I went in and he said, Linda, you look like you're aging backwards today. Jim, you just reminded me I'm aging. Where's the compliment? I never wanted to be Benjamin Button at Starbucks. Wasn't in my wheelhouse. Give me my coffee. I'm originally from a place that rains a lot. I'll get into that in a second. But on a rainy, windy day, which in my hometown is a Tuesday, I went in to Starbucks. And Jim was there, and he had another one of these great compliments, man. He said, Linda, today you look just like Marilyn. I said, well, it's raining. My makeup's going across my face, Jim. What the heck? He said, no, Manson. Thank Thank you. She validates all my jokes. Give it up for her. I said to him, thank you, Jim. I don't think I look like Marilyn Monroe. Let's just get that straight. I think I look like if Marilyn had a sister. Young people, she didn't. Anyway, if Marilyn had a sister and the sister had to pop out of a cake and sing happy birthday to Ted Kennedy. That's more my style. Yeah. I am a practical joker. Anybody else like to pull practical jokes? I pulled them in the military. I'll get into that in a bit. But I love to practical joke people. It's so fun. Okay, I've taken it a little too far a few times. But I was just remembering one time. I like to practical joke people, and so I like to go up to New York people. Do you know how they think they're so tough? Anybody from New York? Oh, good. One person back here? Okay, I can't hear the answers. Anyway, let's say you're from New York. I would sashay up to you and say, I'm from the Upper West Side, and you would probably say, no, you don't sound like it, forget about it. No, I'm not from the Upper West Side of New York. I'm from the Upper West Side of the U.S. map, Oregon. Yeah, I like to practical joke people. And Oregon, anybody from Oregon? I call it Loserville. Oh my gosh. My whole childhood, I grew up there crying and wishing I was in New York. It rains 190 days a year. Do you have any idea what it's like growing up looking out of a window waiting for the rain to stop? That's my childhood. I mean, Oregon is green because it rains, right? I prayed and prayed and prayed that it would stop raining. Unfortunately, what happens when the rain stops, guess what's coming out? The sun? Not the sun, not the rainbow, the freaking people. It's people. You know, they got Doc Martens now and Smurf blue hair, and I'm all for individuality. But I'm from the 50s, right? So there I am, and I'm like, I prayed that the rain would stop, but we're in Portland. We're an hour from the mountains and an hour from the beach. The people come out, and they're frenetic. They don't know what to do. They've been locked up for 6 months. And they come out and they go, do we go to the mountains? Do we go to the beach? Do we go to the mountains? Stay home, take another shower. The first one didn't work. Looked like Smurf had a baby with Sasquatch. It's not working. Yeah. And you know, it's Oregon, and they love their IPAs at a craft brewery. They like to go for craft breweries and whatever. In Oregon, IPA stands for, you've been in the house 6 months, you should say, I'm practically anemic, that's the drink I want. It's ridiculous there. I know you're looking at me and you're like, wow, I wonder, she says that she's turning 75, but I wonder, what's this deal with her in the military? Was she really, because most people don't think I look like the type that would go in the military, right? You wouldn't see me on the street and say, oh, military, right? You wouldn't. But I did, and I'll tell you how that happened. I went to the post office one day in June of 1973. Does anybody believe that 73 existed? Does anybody know what a post office is today? How am I doing? Okay. So I go to the post office, and it was the first time a man was interested in me. Can you believe that? I was 23. Don't do the math now. I'm in the post office and this man is looking at me and he's like showing he's interested in me and his eyes are following me around the post office. It was the first time a man was interested in me. I was scared. I was like, I didn't know how to react. And then he yelled, like really loud, like full caps, like I'm doing now. He yelled. Said, I want you, and he pointed at me. No. I know, it was a poster of Uncle Sam. Yeah. But look at me, I'm a baby boomer. Ladies, go with me on this. Us boomer women were not taught to say no to a man. Hello? Is this thing on? Yeah, we don't like to laugh about that, but it's so true, and that's why we don't laugh. I said, if you want me, you can have me. Where would you like to send me? Germany, the country of love and peace. My family didn't do so well there in the 40s, if you know what I mean. Military intelligence sent me to Hanau, Germany, which was the town that my grandmother was born in. I was so excited. I got to stand on the ground that she was born on. It was amazing. But there was a little problem, okay? I was the only woman on my post, and I didn't know that until I said, "Hi, I'm Linda." And the WAC, Women's Army Corps member, looked at me and said, "Well, I'm so glad you're here. I'm leaving." And she ETS out of Germany. There I was, and I found out I was one woman with 2,000 GIs. I know. I hope I never get Alzheimer's and forget that. I was really bad. Somebody else said they're bad at math. I was bad at math, which is odd knowing my heritage. But I was bad at math, and I'm really glad I joined the military for 3 long years. Yeah. And because it took 3 long years for me to calculate how many times a day are these GIs going to keep trying to shove 2,000 into one? That's my dirtiest joke. You're welcome. There's an answer to that story problem. 2,000 times a day. But I'm the remainder. I'm still standing. Now I'm standing up. So in my day, if you were a woman trying to get into the military, they had one simple test. If they wanted you in, and they just had you step up and do the ASVAB test. You guys know what that is, right, ladies? In my day, you stepped up and just turned a knob. That was it. You turned a knob. Sure, you filled out some paperwork, but based on the way you turned that knob, they knew exactly how smart Linda was. Based on the way that I turned that knob.
Intelligence!
They knew that I would be perfect for cashier in the commissary. Don't want to give her too much responsibility. Yeah. I'm a practical joker, and I missed my parents. My parents never got along. Anybody else relate to this? Oh my goodness. So I wanted to call my parents. And I said, "Hello, Mom. Hello, Dad." Yeah, you had to do it. It was the big phones in those days. "Hi, how are you doing? I'm over here in Germany. I'm having a lot of fun. Work? No, I'm having fun out drinking the German soldiers with their own dark German beer." Yeah, no, not because of World War II and Hitler, because of Army issue alcoholism. Hello? Hello? And that was the only time my parents ever got along. When they hung up on me. Yeah. So I'm a practical joker. They said to me, "Linda, you are in charge of that finance computer." Anybody was in finance in the 70s? They had a great big computer, bigger than this stage. And they told me that I need to keep all the GIs away from the computer. Look at me, I'm 5'2". How am I going to do that? So I got a sign, and I practical joked them. And it sounds like the sign that I made up is in German, but it's really English, in a German way. Okay, ready to hear it? "Das Machine is nicht für Fingerpoken. Und mitten graben, der Dummkopf. Keep your hands to themselves and watch the blinking lights." And it worked. They stayed away from my computer. Yeah. So I know you're watching me and you're thinking, okay, she's 75, she's doing, how long has she been doing comedy to be this good, right? Uh-oh, that joke went over too good. I started comedy when I was really young in life, at age 63. Yeah, it's the new young, right? Yeah, we're going to bring back young. Yeah. For young people, I am your future. I started comedy in Upper West Side of the map, in a state that is very not noticed by the world at all, and I grew up knowing that, Oregon. And in the town that I grew up in was, nobody hears of the town that I grew up in the news at all, Portland. I know, my town's a punchline, I get it. I'm the best export. The mayor said I was the best thing to ever leave. He was so glad I left, he said that. Yeah. I pulled a lot of pranks in Portland, Oregon. I remember when Nike opened up and they started selling shoes and that kind of thing. I called them up and I said, listen, I'm on the track team at the high school and the college. I've been on track team. Give me some of those clothes and I'll run around town and I'll advertise for you. I can't believe I did that. I called Phil Knight of Nike and asked him if I could have some free clothes to run around town in. It went over like a lead balloon then too, don't worry. It went nowhere, it didn't have legs. Okay. When I was in track, I won a track meet. Yeah, thanks. My competitors were drunk from the night before. They were on the sidelines at the finish line. They were on the sideline puking their guts out, and I just went right past them. Yeah. But anyway, I started comedy when I was really, really young, and in my hometown of Portland, Oregon, the young comedians did not want anything to do with the little old lady telling jokes, Angie. Can you believe that? It's true, 1,000%. They would get up and go smoke a cig. I could make men disappear by telling jokes. Superpower. Well, I'm kidding. So I had a cure, and I'm going to do it in a prom gown. You're like, oh no. So I got down on the ground like this. You can stand up, film me, I don't care what you do. I was in the military. I can do sit-ups all day if you want to ignore me. I don't care. I'll just crank out sit-ups while you're ignoring me. I can do this while I'm cleaning the house, doing the dishes, having horizontal mambo jumbo. That's sex. You can do this all day long if you're going to ignore me, because I'm a practical joker. Well, those guys that did not want to hear me do jokes started realizing I was going nowhere, not just with my career, I was not going to leave. And they came back in to film me. They came in and filmed me. This is filming in Oregon. Probably still doing filming in Oregon that way, a little backwards. So the video that they took of me went viral around the world. Those haters actually helped elevate my game, because I didn't give up. I stayed in my own lane. And when you do that with your haters or people that don't believe in you, they're only going to help you, so we don't need to worry about our haters. Am I right? Yeah, it's a takeaway from a boomer. And whenever you have a takeaway from a boomer that has nothing to do with an ambulance, that's a good day. Thank you. So I also got told by the biggest comedy club in Portland, Oregon, it sounds like Helium, because it is. Helium Comedy Club said, Linda, you have so much potential. Have you guys ever heard this? Compliment, you have so much potential. You know what it means? You suck right now. They said, you have so much potential, but we're never gonna book you. I said, what? Why? They said, because you're too damn old and you have nothing in common with the young people. I said, that's crazy. Let me get my iPad. Let me Google that. I couldn't wait. What do the old have in common with the young? And then I had to back out of a pedophile page. Thank you for laughing at my pain. And I re-Googled it, and I came up with a long list of everything we all have in common. Older and younger. Let's quit yelling at each other and get along, right? We made it through a pandemic. Let's get along. We all have confined things. Let's use our time to find out what we... So I did. I came up with a long list of all the things we have in common. And then I lost the list. And I was so scared and so mad and verklempt, whatever. And I said, oh, those young comedians that hated me are going to find my list and they're going to use my jokes. And I go, oh, that'll be horrible. Oh, wait, I wrote it in cursive. Thank you, I'm Linda Margaret Smith.